ladies and gentlemen, as many countries around the world opens up and beginning their recovery from the impact of the pandemic, Myanmar is faced with uncertainties. The failed coup of the military hunters has dragged Myanmar back to the darkest corner of our modern history. As this festival is highlighted on the transition, the myth of Myanmar transition to democracy and a military veto power has been done since February 1, 2021. Every day, the world is witnessing the hunters' relentless atrocities against our people, burning of community and innocent people alive, indiscriminate bombing of civilian communities, including children at school, executions and convictions of political prisoners without due process, continued arbitrary arrest and detention of political dissidents, holding foreign nationals hostage, manipulations of truth, and contriving with other authoritarian and war criminals. Make no mistake, the military junta in Myanmar is a terrorist group continuously committing unspeakable crime against humanity. The world is watching for the past 20 months, deeply concerned yet lack concrete action. Wars, some international institutions even engage the very perpetrator of our people's suffering. While external actors continue to paint the narrative of polarization, it is important to recognize that the conflict in Myanmar is not just between the NLD, Nationally for Democracy Party, and the military junta. Instead, this conflict is asymmetric and deep-rooted on structures and systems built by the terrorist junta to oppress the people and preserve their power. Therefore, while most of the current discourse on Myanmar focus on post-February 2021 political landscape, it is critical to understand that the failed coup is just a manifestation of a decade-long structural violence perpetrated by the ruling military elites. Over the years, the Myanmar military elites built a systems and structure designed to exploit the people and use violence to divide and rule the country. Myanmar has been over 70 years of conflict with our ethnic communities, while politically marginalizing them, militarizing their areas, and exploiting their resources. The Myanmar military elites built a system where rule of law and legal frameworks are twisted to silence dissenting voices to protect its power. Here, I would like to share my personal story in brief. I became active in the opposition to Burma's military government as a university student in 1998. I was arrested at a peaceful protest rally for reading a poem and a statement calling on the military government to respect the result of the 1990 elections. Then I was detained, convicted before a military tribunal, sentenced to 28 years in prison. I spent 11 years as a political prisoner, nearly 9 in solitary confinement. When I was released from captivity in 2009, I came out with unbroken democratic beliefs, with determination to do again all what is needed to bring freedom, democracy, and rights to the people of my country. When military juntas prevented our elected parliament from convening and has arrested our senior political leaders, me, as an elected member of parliament, I have, together with a group of colleges, elected MPs as well, once more taken ultimate risks to establish committee representing elected parliament. And we have, after making alliance with other stakeholders, then jointly established national unity government. If I have been captured in that moment by junta, I will be most probably tortured to death that same night, or preserved to be later sentenced to death and executed by hanging. I am in this moment on the high priority target hit list of military junta. There are tens of thousands of activists in Myanmar with similar story like mine. And main reason why I am telling you this personal story is that in this very moment, there are 15,000 people in Myanmar, most of them as young as I have been when I was arrested, and who are going through the same experience. They have taken huge risks. They stood against military coup and for democracy. They have protested peacefully, and they have been arrested, rammed in full speed by big four-wheel car, shot at by live ammunitions, tortured, sexually abused in detentions, sentenced to long prison sentences, kept in solitary confinement, and recently also executed by hanging. Is there a way out this situation? The answer is resounding yes. The People's Movement and Democratic Alliance against the military junta have never been this strong in the story of Myanmar people's resistance against military dictatorships for 7 decades now. It has been almost 2 years since terrorist military regime robbed Myanmar citizens of their freedom and peaceful future. However, this is not how our story ends. Despite darkness and suffering, a people-led social transformation is unfolding. There are 2 essential realities that the world must come to terms with to recognize. The terrorist junta has failed to consolidate by its own coup, as it does not control country, does not have the support of the people, had failed to deliver core humanitarian services, which define government, and have failed to meet minimum international obligations. On the other hand, the National Unity Government and its strategic partners has achieved a historic and unique convergence of ethnic and civil parties that is controlling substantive part of Myanmar, that is delivering healthcare to address healthcare, humanitarian relief, education, is crafting a new federal democratic constitution to address the grievances of our ethnic communities, and is committed to the principle of international justice and accountability. There is a strength and hope in our people's movement. As long as the people reject terrorist rules, there is hope. Ladies and gentlemen, a clear people-centered principle and visions of the future is critical. Democracy's strength is the legitimacy from the people. In Myanmar, the National Unity Government and our allied groups have been very clear about making sure the principle of resisted movements against the junta puts the interest of the people at the corner of the movement. This is the only way to increase and restore the people's trust in the government. There is a clear alternative option to military regime. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Unity Government of Myanmar and our allied organizations are paving the way for a Myanmar free from oppressive regimes, which will lead real transition for Myanmar, where citizens have equal rights and access to opportunities, and Myanmar that is not a burden to the world, but a productive member of the international community. So please be with us. As Myanmar people, especially new generations, are ready to bring the changes by all means, which is to end dictatorships and bring Myanmar back to the member of the free and just world. Please support us and be with us. Thank you so much for your attention.